My name is Gaming Lord of 4, and welcome to Battlefront 2, and it is Star Wars Day. So I would like to give a big warm welcome to my fellow Star Wars fan, Saber Jewel Gaming.
Hello there, I am Saber Jewel Gaming, and I, of course, always take the high
You
ground.
had to do it on my channel, didn't
Damn right I did,
you?
man.
You son of a... Anyway,
But
so...
I will say it is an absolute pleasure to be on the Gaming Lord 04 channel.
I would like to congratulate you for getting 49 subscribers, my friend.
Thank you very much. I think when I finally hit 50, so if there's anyone watching or listening who becomes the 50th subscriber, I will no, okay. I will officially do I don't know, I'm gonna do like a little sort of a nice little post or something to celebrate that. But yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. So what we're gonna be doing today is we're not gonna be aiming to win or anything like that. We're just gonna be playing in the background, whilst we talk about the original trilogy and maybe some. We're gonna definitely talk about Rogue One, and then maybe some of the series after the original trilogy. And then Revenge of the Fifth tomorrow. Saber's gonna talk about the sequels trilogy. I may join him, I may not. Who knows? All depends on timing and whatnot. But yeah. So
It's probably worth mentioning to people that the first half of this was over on my channel as well.
Oh yes, so, the first half of this was
so they know why we've missed the prequels. Like
yes, before you're wondering why we missed the prequels, it's on his channel. Just go to his channel. But anyway, let's start off, shall we? So I will give you open mic for. We'll start with Rogue One,
okay.
We'll do it in order. Rogue One becomes before it, so we'll do it like that.
I'm okay with that. Have you got control to be able to pick matches and stuff while
I talk? Yeah, I've got control. It's not like Destiny.
Sounds cool. Okay, so Rogue One. I've got to be honest. I actually really enjoy Rogue One. I think it's very much its own little standalone film, but even though it ties into the others, despite what people have said about the effects of the sort of facial sort of graphics for Grand Moff Tarkin and Princess Leia, I actually think they're fine. They don't remotely take me out of the film. I think Darth Vader is probably has some of his coolest ever scenes, including, of course, the famous corridor scene at the end.
Oh,
I think
God, I love that scene.
I would personally say Jyn Erso is one of the most relatable and strongest female characters in all of Star Wars, and quite frankly, one of the most interesting characters in Star Wars. It's a shame she doesn't get more chance to develop, because obviously we're seeing a lot of characters. Yeah. However, I would have to say that our Force-sensitive blind monk is by far one of the coolest characters ever. And the fact that they actually put a blindfold over him when they capture him always makes me laugh. Are you kidding me? I'm blind. It's like, that's so awesome. And some of the action scenes in it are so good. The fights in space scenes. The corridor scene's incredible. The sort of twist that it's her father that makes the Death Star, and that he pretended to be working for them, but he deliberately put the weakness in. I genuinely think, and this is one of the few times where it's not hampered by dodgy dialogue or writing, because it's not part of that sort of series. I would say Rogue One is forget Star Wars film. It's a very good film. There you go. That's my thoughts.
Okay. You obviously know my thoughts. I've talked about my thoughts with you in private many times.
Indeed.
I honestly think the one thing that rectified Rogue One, for me, in my opinion, was the Darth Vader scenes. That's just my opinion. Obviously, it's like other than that, Rogue One just seems like, oh, they basically kill off everyone. They basically introduce characters to kill them off. That's basically what it is to me.
And I
That's
think you're right. I think you're right, but in a way, I think that's one of the reasons I like it
mm,
because it doesn't have the sort of standard Hollywood
yeah,
ending of here's all your heroes win, your villains die.
yeah. No,
It's basically it's a war movie.
it's a good twist on the Hollywood ending and
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's a good
yeah.
twist on it, but it's like it's still it's still Rogue One.
I suppose, and I mean this with all sorts of like a very genuine thing.
Yeah.
It depends what you're looking for in a Star Wars film because I was looking for something a bit different. But
Mm.
not everyone is, and that's not a bad thing. It's that it depends what you're looking for in a film. You could make a really good comedy, and I'd be like, yeah, but that's not what I want in a Star Wars film. Whereas you could turn around and say, no, that was hilarious. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's so I can understand someone who goes right, but it feels different. I'm not sure I want that in a Star Wars
Yeah.
film. But I suppose in a way, maybe that's why I sort of caveated it by I personally think it is a good Star Wars film. But I would say more clearly it's a good film. So if you take the context of seeing it as a Star Wars
Take the
film,
context of
it's
Star
a
Wars.
good
It's
film.
a good film.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you on that.
I especially loved cameos from the guy that played who played Bail Organa and
Yeah.
Mon Mothma
Yeah.
in the prequels. The fact that you've got those
There-
in there, that you
Yeah.
see Grand Moff Tarkin from the sequels, I think it does a very good job of tying the prequels and the sequels into each other.
Mhm.
In a way they feel like very separate
It's
film
like
series. It
yeah,
knits them.
but then all of a sudden you have this film in the middle. It's like it's got something to do with Death Star plans, but then it's like you think, oh, so where does it go from here? And then at the very end, it immediately ties into the start of A New Hope, and it goes from New Hope. So it's like as soon as you finish Rogue
Yeah,
One,
yeah,
there's enough. Just ignore the credits. Go straight to A New Hope.
yeah. You could literally, if you just could sort of like just have it like on a stream, you
Mm,
could literally have that bit where he goes, "What is it?" and she just looks and goes, "Hope." And then you could instantly start. Just
yeah,
don't even do the scroll. You could
yeah,
instantly start with, and here comes the ship attacking them, and go from there. And it would make total
yeah.
sense. It would make perfect sense.
I mean, apart from the fact that you don't see really weird CGI faces.
True. But again, I that doesn't
That
bother me.
that doesn't
I've
bother me. That doesn't bother me.
and here's the reason. Like I've never understood because I know people had a similar issue with Terminator Salvation, where you see CGI Arnie, and people are like, but that looks fake. It doesn't look real. I'm like, we've just seen a giant slug dribbling over someone over there. We saw a giant fish man with floppy ears a little couple of films back. None of these things looked real, but for some reason,
Yeah,
when it's meant to be a human face, people have an inability to suspend disbelief, and
yeah.
I don't get it. It's like they're swinging around laser swords. You know that's not real, but you don't care because it looks cool.
It's like the only
So
reason Luke's lightsaber is green is because the blue would not show up on the screen.
yeah, especially in the desert.
Yeah,
I think it was also partly because it was good for marketing to be able to
yeah,
sell different colored lightsabers.
yeah.
Um,
I
but
found out the actual like Galaxy's Edge Luke Skywalker saber is like it's got two ends to it. So it's like if you want to display it with like the fin bit on,
yeah,
it's like you can have that. But then if you twist like the top of it off, you can then put the blade in it with like a thicker bit, obviously to house the blade and electronics.
nice, nice.
Which
Did I
is
just see you level up there, by the way?
I don't think so.
I thought I just saw you level up on the
I
screen.
might have.
Um,
Oh yeah, I'm playing
yeah,
Kylo. Yeah, I leveled up a bit, and it is
yeah,
triple XP
congratulations,
now. So yeah,
congratulations. So
thank
yeah,
you.
so that's Rogue One. Yeah,
Now A New Hope.
okay,
I'll give you open mic on this again.
okay. So For anyone who's already watching who doesn't know this, I'm assuming most will, but I'm a fair bit older than you, aren't I, mate?
Yeah.
So obviously I'm not so old that I actually saw these films when they first came out, but when they remastered them, I did actually go and see the remastered versions in the cinema, and it's weird because I've always found New Hope to be the most boring.
Hello there, Sif.
Hey, we've been joined by Sith and Muppet Features as well.
Oh yeah. Hello, Muppet.
Hello to both of you. I'm just giving my thoughts on Episode 4: A New Hope. And yeah, I generally found New Hope, although it's probably the most, it's like iconic Star Wars film.
Yeah.
But if I'm honest, it's one I love it
It's
because it's Star Wars, but it's boring. It's a
yeah.
bit boring. I love it, but it is boring. Um, and the lightsaber fight has not aged well.
No, and
The
it's like
Death Star,
someone
the Death
someone
Trench one is
recreated the
awesome.
scene and
I've
it
seen it.
looks awesome. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They had like
yeah.
voiceovers from like episode 3 and it's so good.
Yeah. The Death Star trench one is still cool.
Oh yeah, no, that's
The
so cool.
the the what I will say saves Episode 4 so much is the interaction between Han, Luke, Leia, and to a slightly lesser degree Kenobi. Um, I think the interaction between them is so genuine and believable
Yeah.
that it's just so much fun. It's
Because it's
it's
like they were friends
enjoyable.
offset as well, weren't they?
Well, they'd never actually met each other,
I
but
know,
they
but they
did
became
get on well.
friends
I
through
think,
the
in a
film, didn't
sense,
they? Yeah.
yeah. Harrison Ford became sort of like a big brother stroke
Yeah.
dad figure to them, and they
Because
you
especially to
basically
Carrie
had.
Fisher, because she was like 18
Yes, and
they
apparently it
first
was
started
like they
shooting.
would both sort of be trying to impress him on set and stuff, and
Because
yeah, it was.
like that, this was after Indiana Jones, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or
no,
before?
no, it was before.
Before?
Yeah, because he was only working on set as a carpenter.
Was he?
Yeah, when they did the went to the way George Lucas would audition for this film was he didn't audition people individually. He just brought people in groups of three, and
Yeah.
said whichever trio had the best chemistry, that'd be the three he hired. And he did say like if two from one group were really good and the other wasn't, he'd take those two and try and
Hmm.
find someone else. But what happened was when Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill turned up, the person who was meant to play Han Solo didn't show up. So he basically went out, so we need someone to fill in for them so they've still got a fair chance.
Yeah.
And because Harrison Ford, who was working as a carpenter, had acting experience, they were like, oh, we'll get him to do it. And he was so good that he was like, well, give him the part.
Yeah.
Um, and Alec Guinness, because there's actually, what people forget is Alec Guinness was like a very well-known serious actor.
Yeah.
As Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He hated being Obi-Wan though.
Yeah, well, I think he
Well, I don't
hated
think he hated
sci-fi.
being Obi-Wan.
He
I
thought
think
it was
he,
silly,
yeah.
and I think he
I
didn't
think
like
he
the
more
fact that he was
also
out in the
hated
desert.
Tatooine. Yeah.
Yeah, because they filmed it out in Tunisia.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's and then of course you had um, what's his name playing Grand Moff Tarkin,
Oh god.
who was a very famous actor because he was in all the Hammer horror films. He usually, in fact, ironically enough, in the Dracula movies, he actually played Van Helsing,
Yeah.
and the person he was usually trying to kill was
Christopher Lee.
guy
Yeah.
Christopher Lee, who played Count Dooku, and that's why he's called Count Dooku.
Yeah.
It's a nod
Oh
to the
yeah,
fact
because
that he
yeah.
played Count Dracula. So in one trilogy you've got Van Helsing, and in the other trilogy you've got Dracula.
Dracula. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my general views on Episode 4. I love it because it's your mum. You've got to love it. But at the same time, it's not aged well.
Oh no,
It's not
definitely
aged
not.
well. It's aged well enough that you can still enjoy it, but
Yeah.
it's not it's nobody's favorite. Put it that way. It's nobody's favorite. I
Nobody's
would say
favourite.
it's nobody's least favorite, Nobody's going to say that's the one I hate the most. But it's not going to be anyone's favourite either.
Yeah.
There you go. I've rambled plenty, mate. It's definitely your
Okay.
turn.
So, I agree with you. It is definitely one of the most boring of the films. And it's like when I was playing Skywalker Saga, it's like I completely forgot because I haven't seen A New Hope in a while.
Yeah.
I completely forgot Luke doesn't use the Force at all in that film.
Well, apart from to destroy the Death Star.
Apart from to destroy the Death Star, you don't actually see him physically use the Force like to fight anyone or anything like that. So it's like his character in his actual minifigure like character that you can play as
Yeah.
for that episode doesn't have the Force at all.
He never uses it, really, does he?
Yeah. But it's like I was playing it. It was just like obviously it's the Lego games they're rushed, but anyway, we're not on about the Lego games.
No,
The
no,
film,
but it's a fair point. It is a fair point.
yeah. The Yeah, it was definitely one of the most boring. Not the most boring, but one of the more boring ones. Um, but yeah, it it just like some bits felt like oh they don't really get all that answered, and it's like why like if you ignore Rogue One ever existing, just like they just um, obviously it's like we can't because it's out now and stuff like that. Why would they design it that the port doesn't have like a thing over it or something like that, like a something to protect it?
Which we have the answer from now, from
Yeah, from Rogue One.
yeah, yeah.
But then it's like the design flaws in that Death Star. It's like why would you have things that you can fit a whole ship going through it? The trash compactor scene is pretty bad. It's like for some reason that's a boss fight in the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. Sorry for the spoiler alert, by the way, Saber, but that's a boss fight. It's like that's a boss fight. It's like why is that a boss fight?
No,
What's it called? What's it called? The thing?
oh, it's just something that lives. I don't
Something.
even know what it's called.
It's just like for some reason it's a boss fight, and it's like why is that a boss fight? It should just be a cutscene. But then it's like stuff like Order 66 is like you could easily make that a playable level cutscene.
Yeah.
It's like because I think it'd be cool to see that as like a playable scene, like a playable thing. It's like you play as the Jedi trying to survive.
The
But
thing
anyway,
is, there's only so much that happens
yeah,
jumping back to episode 4. Like there's
Yeah.
only so much that happens in it to fit in. Because
To
I
fit
remember
in,
playing
yeah.
some of the previous Lego games, and there's whole levels of Luke walking around Tatooine, and I'm like, none of this happened.
yeah,
So it is. There's basically comes down to a few key scenes, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do they fill this out into a movie?
It's like the key
But
the
yeah.
key scenes, like some parts I can't even remember honestly.
Yeah.
Like I remember the iconic scene where he's standing and looking at the sunset because that's a
It's
really
iconic, as you say.
it's
Yeah.
iconic and a beautiful scene.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously the scene where it's Darth Vader fighting Obi-Wan. The aren't you a little too short to be a stormtrooper? And then the bombing or the destroying the Death Star.
Aren't you too short to be a stormtrooper? Aren't you a little bit too much trapped to be picky about who rescues you?
Oh, and
So, yeah.
And who shot first? That whole mess.
Shall I answer that one?
Hmm.
Greedo.
Yeah, Greedo shot first.
He shot first. And I don't care anyone that's like, no, Han should have shot first. Why?
Why?
He's not the villain. He's not a murderer. He's not a bounty hunter. He's a smuggler. So yes, he would be willing to shoot in defense. But why would you want him to be the one that shoots
Yeah.
first? Doesn't make any sense. And that's controversial. I know people will kick off on that, but that is my point.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with it. But anyway, yeah, there's episode 4. That's
So episode 5. I'll start off at this one.
go for
Best
it.
Star Wars film, in my opinion,
As
as a
in best
whole,
of all of them.
of all of them.
Okay.
That's okay. Now that she said it, I remember it.
Yeah.
Um. But yeah. Um. It's like obviously, like I love it because it's like you've got Yoda.
Yeah.
You've got that whole training bit. You've got the Hoth battle. It starts off with
That's
the
awesome.
attack on Echo Base. That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's an awesome
that's
scene.
that is iconic in itself. That.
That's iconic in itself.
In
Then
fact,
you've
I would
got
call that probably the most iconic
Yeah.
battle in all of Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, Sif has posted a new TikTok, Saber.
Okay, I will go and check that out after here.
So you've then got the training on Dagobah, which is pretty cool, and it's obviously been memed to one of our favorite things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Rockin' and rolling. Anyway, then you've got the Cloud City. Cloud City is awesome. I love the idea of it being like whole planet. There's not really much to the whole planet, but then you've just got this massive like spaceship, pretty much space like colony type thing, like floating colony. There you go. That's the word. That is it's just awesome to me. But then you've also got the scene where you've got Vader hiring the bounty hunters, and you see this array of different like
Yeah, different characters
enemies,
and stuff.
and it's
Yeah.
like they have all this different enemies, and they only use 2. Yet somehow everyone remembers most of the enemies that were there.
Well, they all got explored in Expanded Universe, didn't
They
they?
did.
And stuff?
They did. You've got IG-88, you've got Boba Fett, you've got Bosk,
Yeah.
you've got Dengar, and it's like all of them characters are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh god, I hate this. I'm gonna die.
Any other thoughts or
Um,
things to say?
the obviously the duel between Vader and Luke.
Hmm.
The "No, I'm your father." That line. And notice how I didn't
Yeah.
say no. Notice how I said, Luke, I am your father. How I
Yeah,
didn't
'cause it's
say
one
it.
of the most
Because that's not the line.
misquoted- Yeah, it's one of the most misquoted lines in all of cinema.
Yeah, it's one of the
That's him.
misquoted lines of all cinema.
Yeah.
Okay, how
Ranks
long
up
have you been
there
able
with,
to get on top of this tank?
Hey, just launch palps back
Uh,
away from me, you creepy little creeper.
well, hey there, Saber. Hey there.
Get your lightsaber back here, boy.
We got Dooku.
Yeah, I sees him. Any other bits to say? Or do you want me to say mine, or?
No, you say. You feel free to say. I also like how they didn't have a Death Star.
Yes. You know what? In fact, that's a good point, and I'm going to open with that. Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, is one of the most unique ones. Episode 4, Episode 6, Episode 1, Episode 7 all follow the same formula,
Yeah.
and that one doesn't, which is really cool. Battle of Hoth, absolutely iconic,
Yeah.
legendary, awesome. The lightsaber duel at the end in Cloud City, epic, legendary, awesome. I love how it contrasts with the previous lightsaber duel, where it's far more lively. But then we very quickly see that Luke starts off really strong,
Yeah.
but then it's like, no, mate, you're not
But
at his
then,
level.
but then he has his hand cut off, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
But it's also once he actually starts using the Force, you're like, right, so you can match him maybe as a lightsaber duelist, which is impressive enough. But
yeah.
once
But once
Vader
you bring
starts
Force
using the
into it,
Force, he's not got a chance, and it shows that difference. As you say, the "No, I'm your father," which it's always fun how to sit and think that that's not what Mark Hamill heard,
oh no, yeah, yeah,
because what he actually says is he never told you what happened to Yvonne. He goes, he told me enough, you killed him. And he says, no, Obi-Wan killed your father.
yeah.
Which, by the way, is also kind of true.
That's also, yeah, it's also kind of true, and it's
Yeah.
also a pretty good plot twist.
Yeah. So, the only problem I think that there is with Empire Strikes Back is the whole bit in between where you've got Han and Leia running away and hiding.
That,
I
yeah,
find that
I agree
all
with
a
that. That's
bit
the whole,
boring and a bit meh.
yeah,
But at the same time, what I will say is it does a very good job of starting to give them a believable
yeah,
relationship. The fact that they're hidden off somewhere, the tension's high, but they're not under sort of constant attack. It makes their budding relationship fit.
yeah,
The training stuff with Yoda, I love the introduction to it and everything. What I will say is it's very hard to have any understanding of how much time has passed
yeah,
because of the way it's laid out. I don't know if he's been on Dagobah with him for a day or two, or whether they've been there for weeks,
yeah,
months. You can't tell, and that makes it very hard to know whether it's implausible and silly that he's learned to become a
yeah,
Jedi that quickly, or that it makes total sense. Um, I think it's fair to say Empire Strikes Back is an exceptional film. It's one of the most. It's one. I think a lot of people
yeah.
will call it their favorite. Um, I don't personally think it's my favorite, even in the sequel trilogy, and the original trilogy, though. But it's definitely a very good one.
I
Like if I
never
was
said it was
picking,
my favorite.
no, but yeah, you did. Actually, you did.
No, I said it's the best.
Uh, uh, okay, fair enough, Yeah, I get it. Okay, it's kind of different. Yeah.
Corporate wants you
But
to
yeah,
identify the.
yeah, they're the same comment. Oh, hello.
I can think something's the best, but that doesn't
Yeah,
mean
with
it's.
that. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. And yeah, I think it's a fantastic film. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
It is probably got some. I think there is an interesting thing which I think is what makes it one of the best, and also what makes it easier,
yeah,
which is it's the middle.
yeah,
It is a film that doesn't need a start because The New Hope did the start for you.
yeah,
It's a film that doesn't need an end because Episode 6 ties everything up. So it's in this perfect little sweet spot of just go and make a good film. We've already started it for you, and you don't have to worry about finishing it. So it, I think it must have been one of the most easy ones to make
yeah,
because how could you fail on that?
yeah. What?
Sorry, man. Oh,
What?
you won't even see it on the stream. So I literally jumped on the top of that big tank thing, right?
Yeah.
And I was mid-air flying, and Count Dooku just lightning blasted me, and before I landed, I just went flying off the edge and splattered onto my
I would
backside.
like to say I would probably be doing a lot better if someone had taken my main.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you whining?
No, I'm
I'm
simping
complaining.
over Ewan McGregor.
Fair play. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Empire
Yep.
Strikes Back, I think, one of the best Star Wars films. It would. There is no way it isn't in the top. If you were picking the top 5 Star Wars films, there is no way anybody is not going to have Empire Strikes
Yeah.
Back in there, unless they're just wanting to watch the world burn. That's it.
Oh no, yeah. definitely.
Otherwise,
I've just
it is in
realised this is two
everyone's
v
top
two
five.
pretty much. This is pretty much two v two pretty
I
much.
mean, what you could do after this one, if you want to do like a different
Well, the
game mode
co-op,
instead, we
yeah.
could do. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. There's
Okay.
episode 5.
So, Return of the Jedi. Now, I recently played this again. Recently, just played this on the the Skywalker Saga. Like, I forgot the name of the game for a second.
Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Yeah,
That's
Skywalker
what
Saga. Yeah,
I see.
it's a mouthful. Okay. But I honestly enjoyed playing through it. I enjoyed playing through it. Obviously, Hoth. It's got Hoth. Wait, no, that was
Nope,
no,
we've just done
no.
that.
I've completely forgotten what I was doing. Yep. Okay.
We'll start
Um.
again. Hello, here's the Gaming Lord 04, and I.
Okay, we're not going back that far. Jesus. Um.
Okay.
I completely forgot. My brain just went numb. Hold on. But it's got obviously the opening scene of Jabba's palace, which is it's in my opinion it's a pretty cool opening to
Yeah,
a Star Wars film
yeah, yeah.
because it's like you've got obviously C-3PO and all right, see you Muppet.
See you later, Muppet. Thank you for joining us. Much appreciated. Have a good night's sleep. Hope to see you soon.
What are we going on about? Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Not Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, you were talking about how good it is in that desert on Hoth.
Yeah, that desert on Hoth. Yeah. So obviously you've obviously got C-3PO and R2 entering the palace, and then you've got in the game it goes. Oh, you distracted me! You distracted me, Muppet. I was reading the comment, and then Vader attacked. I will lead the moves of Jabba to lead you into Return of Jedi. Okay, god damn it. Now, but yeah. So obviously, Saber, you there?
Yes.
Okay. It was quiet for a second. That's all.
Well, yeah. I'm letting you speak, man.
Oh,
It's your.
okay. Yeah. Your game, you've got obviously Leia disguised as the bounty hunter with Chewie. Um, which does does she bring Chewie in the film?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because she's pretending to be a bounty hunter that's
yeah,
causing.
yeah. And then she then goes and frees Han from Carbonite. Wait, what? How are you Yoda?
I'm not.
No, no. Sif's going on about being Yoda. I'm confused.
I can't see
Anyway.
the live path, so
Oh, okay. But yeah, anyway. And then you've got Luke entering, mind controlling Bib Fortuna. Oh, okay.
did we get some clarity there?
Yeah, yeah, he says you are Yoda. Okay. But yeah. So it's obviously got the opening scene. It then got the sail barge whole thing. And that is just a cool like scene with like the whole
Yeah.
Sarlacc pit and everything. It's
Yeah.
it's a damn good scene. Obviously it's got more Boba Fett, which Boba Fett, one of my favorite characters. I have a lot of favorite characters, obviously in Star Wars, but then again,
Apparently
I'm pretty
so.
sure everyone has a lot. I'm sure. But yeah, and then you've got the Sarlacc pit. You've got obviously, on sadly, you've got Luke going to see Yoda as he's passing on and becoming a Force ghost, becoming one with the Force. Um, and you've then got Death Star 2. You've got the fight between Anakin. You've got the fight between father and son. And then father and son basically go up against the big bad. Which, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was an awesome fight scene. I loved it. I loved how throughout before they even started fighting. Oh, hold on, quick before throws us into something. I like before it even starts, Palpatine's already like manipulating Luke a bit, like trying to twist him to the dark, just
Yeah.
like how Palpatine did in Revenge of the Sith with Anakin to Dooku. It's like already like you can see him pulling the strings a little.
Yes. It's got it's. Oh, well, yeah. I'll wait till it's my. Yeah. I'll wait and say my bits.
No, go on, go on.
Well, no, because was there any other bits you wanted to say about that one first? That film? You're
Um,
missing a key bit that happens, I suppose, on a particular moon.
Endor.
I'm sure you have some thoughts there.
Before this game, Ewoks were adorable. They were cute. Now, because of this game, I absolutely hate them, and they are my waking nightmare. I'm scared of Build-A-Bears. That's basically it. They are absolutely terrifying.
Classic.
We have seen Moon Knight Sith. Well, I have anyway. I've seen the finale.
I haven't seen the last episode
Do
yet.
not say anything, Sith.
It's okay. I can't see the stream anyway, so.
Okay, you can't see the stream anyway.
But I will be watching it tomorrow, and I'm
The episode
hoping,
or the stream?
No, I'll be watching
Okay.
the episode tomorrow, and I'm
No,
also
no.
hoping to watch Multiverse of Madness tomorrow as well.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Are you going to be watching it as well?
Yeah,
But I suppose I think quite a lot of people are going to be watching it this weekend before spoilers start going crazy everywhere.
I'm trying my best to watch it tomorrow because it's like the day it comes out, and it's like you can already tell YouTube's gonna have a field day if you watch it like after tomorrow. There are gonna be a ton of things on YouTube.
Yeah, well, already there's been people sort of posting like first reviews and stuff.
And it's just like, why? Why would you do that?
Saying it in. Sorry.
It's like,
anyway.
hold off. Anyway, back to Star Wars.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Return of the Jedi?
Do you know what?
Hold on. Actually, another thing. Obviously, you also had a lot of young Star Wars fans first ever crush.
Hello, bikini.
Uh-huh. And that's all we'll say about that.
But it's like you can literally just say gold bikini, and everyone's like,
and everyone will be like, yes.
Knows what you're talking about. So I'm gonna move past the gold bikini. Take the high ground and all. I genuinely think Episode 6 is it's my favourite of the original trilogy.
Episode 6, yes,
but it's my favourite, and I would actually
also
say
my favourite.
It's probably my second favourite, or it. You know what? I wouldn't say second favourite. It is on par with Episode 3. That and Episode 3 are my favourites on time. And here's why.
I will happily agree.
You mentioned the whole intro. That was did such a good job of tying up what happened in Episode.
Just realised I've not put us into another game yet.
Oh yeah, go on. But yeah. So that bit was awesome. And then the repetition of the Death Star. Yes, it's a bit bland, but at the same time, it wasn't the meme it is now, where we go, oh, so that's another Death Star. That's basically like the Death Star. It wasn't like that. At that point, it was sort of like bringing back a villain. You're like, not the Death Star again. How are they gonna? And also, the fact is, I think it was designed that way to trick the rebellion. Oh, we've beaten a Death Star before, we can do it again. Because the whole point of the second Death Star was deliberately, it was only made to lure out the rebellion.
Yeah.
It was a setup all along. So in a sense, it makes sense. So I'm going to overlook that. This is the first time, at least when it was originally made, it was the first time we ever saw the Emperor, because
Yeah.
you saw a hologram of the Emperor in Empire Strikes Back, but it was a
Which in
different
the
actor then.
original release before it was remastered
Yeah,
was
it was a different actor.
weird,
Yeah.
to say the
But
least. But
then
anyway,
so this was the first time we actually saw Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor. He was
who,
awesome.
my God, is a
Oh, he's so good.
perfect,
So
perfect
good.
casting.
Absolutely incredible. Um, so yeah, I absolutely loved that. And the whole scene with the Ewoks, I know a lot of people now will criticize the Ewoks. As a kid watching it, and I thought they were cool. I thought
Yeah.
they were fine.
Although
And I like,
I still think that, but I'm still weary
yeah,
as how the
it's a bit
hell
awkward.
they beat an army of armored
But
people with
that's
sticks.
that's kind of the point, though, isn't it? It's about these, it's sort of like a metaphor for them overtaking the empire. Anyway,
Yeah.
is that they've got this big, perfect sort of mechanical army, but these just wholesome little creatures are going to fight them. And yes, it's a little bit unbelievable, but still, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I will say it's got one of the smartest pieces of dialogue ever. Whereas in Empire Strikes Back we have the Princess Leia going, "I love you," and
I
he
know.
goes, "I know." And then in this one, when they're about to be captured, and he looks at him and he goes, "I love you," and she goes, "I know."
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
know.
like, "Oh, that's awesome."
Ah, the tables
That is
turned.
so good. That's such a good dialogue. And let's be honest, the Star Wars films are not known for good dialogue,
No,
but that was good dialogue.
that was comedic as well.
Do you know why? I'm jumping away off stream a little bit a minute, and I will come back. But do you know why he says "I know"?
No.
That wasn't the script. That wasn't in the script. In the script, he was supposed to say "I love you,"
Yeah.
and he says it, and not George Lucas, the other director was like, "No, that doesn't sound right. Do it differently." So she goes, "I love you," and he goes, "I love you." She goes, "No, that still doesn't sound right. Just
Yeah.
try it one more time." And he keeps trying it, and it doesn't work. And then in the end, he says, "Right, forget that line. Don't even
Yeah.
say it." He says, "You're Han Solo. Just she's going to say she loves you. You say something back. It's your last time you're ever going to speak to her because you think you're about to die. Just say whatever you think he would say." And she goes, "I love you," and he just looks and goes, "I know." And she just sort of freezes because she didn't know what he was going to say that.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "That's perfect. That is Han Solo.
Yeah.
That is what he would say."
Yeah,
And
because Han Solo
it's just
saying "I
so well
love you"
done.
doesn't seem like.
No, not at
Okay,
that
see you
point.
in a minute, Sif.
See you later, bud. So yeah. So anyway, but then, on right, wait, you mate, I'm joining you. Yeah. So, and then you have so you've got that whole scene going on, and then you have, I'm gonna say it now, Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker, Part 2, is
Yeah.
the best lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Because, yes, it's not as flashy or as choreographed as some of the
Prequels.
prequel trilogy ones. It's, but this is a hard hitting. It's flashy enough, but like when he's hitting him with the lightsaber, Luke, it's like he's hitting him with a sledgehammer. He's
Yeah.
pounding down.
No, he's
And
aggressive with that.
yeah. And as you mentioned before, I think you summed it up perfectly when you were saying about how the Emperor's already manipulating him, and actually there's a story to the fight.
Yeah.
There's an arc. It's about he's trying to be manipulating him. Vader thinks he's involved, and then
Yeah.
he realizes he's the one being manipulated.
Which is
And
exactly like Dooku.
exactly. And then you've got the bit where you sort of got him looking ahead, and he looks down. He's cut off his father's hand. He then looks down and sees his own hand cut off, where
Yeah.
the damage that, and it's like he sees I'm on my way to becoming like him. I'm
Yeah.
on my way to going that way, and it's so well done. I mean,
Yeah.
even the bit where when in order to make Luke lose his temper, because you sort of think he won't lose his temper, he won't lose his temper, and then when he goes mentions you have a twin sister. Well, if you won't turn to the dark side, perhaps she will. And he's like, no, and you're like,
And it's like
oh crap.
the thing is when it's like, oh, which one of them would we have as like the dark side that's in like some like fan art and stuff like that? It's normally Leia who's the
Yeah,
one who's the dark side.
that's mainly because people think it's really hot.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, um, but yeah, it's just such a good thing where he's like, no, I'm not having you do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just so then he goes, he battles him, and then he doesn't, he wins the fight, but he doesn't beat him. It's like he sort of goes, no, and he throws his lightsaber down. He
Yeah.
wins by not fighting, so he gets the win, but he doesn't actually kill anyone. It's so perfect, and then as you say,
Yeah.
you've got Palpatine just looks like this nasty, horrible thing the way he turns on him.
Yeah.
And then you've got that. Somehow, it's so good. You somehow have this man in a helmet as Darth Vader, and you can somehow see the emotions he's feeling and the thoughts that are running through his head. Do I save my son? Do I side with my master? What do I do? It's like he doesn't know, and you can see it all, even though you
Yeah.
can't see his face. I don't know how they do it. The
Welcome back,
music
Sif.
is so good. And yeah, it just sets up perfectly.
I love how eerie the Emperor's theme is in that
Yeah.
film.
Oh. But yeah. So yeah, for me,
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi, it is the best one of the original trilogy, and I would say it is, if not the best one, I think it ties with Episode 3 as the best one.
Yeah.
Love it. And it's my favourite version of Luke as well.
Oh yeah, the green
The fact
lightsaber.
that green lightsaber, the fact that he's dressed darker,
It's like
which is sort of
he's his
making
own
you think
he's his own person. Because if you think about
he
it,
is.
the lightsaber he had before was Anakin's.
Yes.
I don't care what anyone says. It wasn't Rey's. It's Anakin's.
Well, no one said it was raised. It's that it becomes raised.
Whoa! You talk to Disney
No one
about
said
that.
it was
You
raised.
talk to Disney about that.
It becomes raised.
Don't you dare.
The same way it becomes Luke's. And let's be fair, how many times has Anakin lost his lightsaber anyway? He's gone through about 5 of them.
Cause, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, he has. He's gone
Yes.
through a ton of them. But
No,
anyway.
someone it's like someone made a little comic thing, just like saying, just like, I imagine like every time Anakin loses a lightsaber, he has to go it with a random group of younglings to Ilum.
Yeah.
Is it Ilum?
Ilum.
The planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I think so, yeah. I was just
Yeah,
making sure I was
so.
saying it right. It's like, he's just with a random group of like Padawans, and just there, just like, yep, okay. Yoda's just like, young Skywalker again, nicey.
I reckon he's got just like a bag of ready-made lightsabers.
No, General Grievous probably has like most of the lost lightsabers. That's probably why he has so many lost lightsabers.
In fact, he's never actually killed a Jedi for a lightsaber. He just follows Anakin around, picking his up as he drops them. He's just walking around, creeping behind him. Ooh, it's another
Right,
to add to my
head
collection.
canon right now. All of Grievous's lightsabers that he uses in Revenge of the Sith are from
Yeah.
Anakin.
Yeah, they're just all ones Anakin's lost. Hey, level up there.
But yeah, anyway, do we go into Mandalorian and Boba Fett?
Well, bear in mind, mate, we haven't done Solo.
Oh my god, I completely forgot
Yeah.
that existed.
So there's at least another movie to cover.
There's another movie to cover, which, yeah.
Do you want to start with Solo, or do you want me
You
to?
start with Solo, because I've only ever seen it once.
Okay. I am going to say, right, first of all, Solo didn't need to happen. It wasn't necessary
I
at
will
all.
agree.
Okay? Right? Now, it not being necessary does not make it a bad film. I think because it was not necessary, and because at the time Star Wars fans were all protesting against Disney,
Yeah.
everyone turned against it. Now, I am not going to say it's a great film, but I'm going to say it's absolutely fine. It's fine. If I was watching all the Star Wars films, I will happily watch Solo. And to be fair, I genuinely enjoy it. It's got Woody Harrelson in it.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
funny.
and his character is really quite cool.
Yeah.
It's got Paul Bettany in it, and his character's cool. It's got the best on-screen version of Darth Maul.
Hold on. Sif's asking a question. When Obi-Wan comes out, are you going to talk about it? I'd say before we talk about it, we'd wait for the whole series to come out and stuff, and then we'll talk about it.
That said, to be fair, when we're on these streams on
Yeah.
playing Star Wars Battlefront, we
We
tend
normally
to
talk.
randomly talk about Star Wars anyway.
Yeah.
So, so it probably wouldn't be like maybe what we do is on. I suppose what we could do, Game Lords, if we do on your channel, we do a full season review, and on my channel we could do like little
episode
mini
review?
discussions. Yeah,
Episode reviews.
do it that way. So yeah, so I think if there's put it this way, Sith, if there's interest in us talking about it, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
And so I think we definitely do like a full season review over on on this channel, and back on my channel we could do little individual ones as we do our sort of weekly gaming sessions sort of thing. Yeah, but
Back to Solo.
back to Solo. But to be fair, that was a good question. That's it, actually.
Yeah,
Thanks
that's
for
a
that.
good question.
Yeah,
And
so
we'll
I
look into
actually
it.
quite enjoy it. I think because I watched it again recently,
Yeah.
and I found myself going, "This is actually much better than I thought it was." The guy who plays Han Solo is pretty decent.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Lando is really good. Yeah, I think it's actually a decent film.
Yeah.
It's the problem is they made Solo when everyone wanted a Kenobi movie.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's the problem.
So people were like, "You made this thing we don't want and we don't need, and we wanted this."
Yeah.
So it's like if you order like a cheeseburger and chips, and they send over a steak. It doesn't matter how good the steak is. The steak could be 10 times better, but you did steak.
Yeah.
So you're sort of like, yeah, this is good, but I wanted my cheeseburger.
Yeah. God, I wish that's how it worked at Mackey's.
Yeah, would you want it if that's their version of a burger though? Would you really want one of their steaks?
Yeah. Fair enough. KFC on the other hand. Oh my god, the burgers at KFC.
Yeah, that's better. Mackey's
Yeah.
breakfast.
Mackey's breakfast, yeah.
That's
Okay, now we
that's a
talk about
whole-
Mackey's and KFC. That's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? We'll do a separate live stream where we can
For
compare
Mackey's and
fast
KFC.
foods. But yeah, are there any other Star Wars? Do you want to briefly talk about Mandalorian and Boba Fett as a
We'll
as
talk
a
about.
summary?
I want to give my point of view on Solo.
Oh my God! Sorry, I do apologise, mate. Totally didn't even realise. Sorry, but carry on.
Okay,
Carry on.
so I think that did we win?
We
Won.
win.
Awesome.
We win now.
We win now. Victory is for me. Okay, on Fortnite, on Boba Fett's going. No Saber Lord game, Saber Duel Gaming, and the Gaming Lord food review. Okay, so is that a no to do a food review? No, no.
I don't know. I think we do it anyway.
No, because then we'd be like Nicky Carver or Avocado or whatever his name is. Have you seen any of his things? Oh, Jesus. Um, but anyway, my point of view is Solo. I've only ever seen it once, and that's when I was going through every single Star Wars thing in lockdown. It feels like it was ages ago. So I've
Way,
only ever
way
seen it
back then.
once. But from what I remember of it, I did quite enjoy it. It was a fine. It was a perfectly fine film. But as you said, Saber, it didn't need to happen.
Yeah, and I think
Which,
that's
the, yeah, it's part of the, that is part of the problem. So it didn't need to happen, and it's as you said, it's at a time where everybody wanted a Kenobi film, at a time where everybody was kind of falling out with Disney, and then they released that. Which obviously, if you watch it, obviously forgetting all that, it's a perfectly fine film.
yeah. Like, put it this way, right? If they hadn't released that film, but then they released it as a mini series of like 3 episodes
People would
on
be
Disney
more
Plus,
accepting of it. I'm
yeah,
pretty
people would
sure if
go,
it was
"That's
like
all
that.
right."
Yeah.
I think the problem was they tried to justify making it. So they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, so the reason he got the name Solo is because he was traveling solo."
Yep.
And do you know how he got that gun and those dice? Someone gave them to him, and you know the way you know how he meets Chewbacca. They meet each other. Okay. Do you know why he calls him Chewie though? Because Chewbacca's too long to say. I mean, I kind of already assumed that was the case.
Yeah, I
So
kind of.
none
I
of
think
the
everyone already assumed that was the case.
yeah,
Yeah.
no one's gonna. I mean, it sounds like he's like of course that's why. Um,
Yeah.
you know, but it just it was like they were trying to give us reasons to go. Isn't that a cool reveal? And it wasn't.
Yeah. No, it's just like that's cool, right? That's cool,
It's
right?
like
That's cool, right?
have
And then the only cool one was the one at the end.
have you ever seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
I am ashamed to admit I've never seen any Indiana Jones film.
Oh man, we've got to do something. About it. Anyway, um, so basically, there's certain iconic things about the character.
Yeah.
So obviously you've seen he wears the hat, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously. I know.
and
I can. I can
you know
like.
about the character.
Yeah.
So
I
he's
know about the
basically
character and I can reference
he's
it
got a
most of the time.
major phobia of snakes,
Okay.
right? And it's this particular film starts because it was meant to be the last one. It
Yeah.
starts with a kid playing like a young version of him, and they're going out into the desert with their like sort of like cadets or something like that,
Yeah.
and they go off exploring, and they basically find these people robbing a tomb and taking stuff. So he's like, "We've got to do something about this. That belongs in a museum." And all this sort of
Oh
stuff.
yeah, and that's
As a
like his
kid, so
famous line
yeah,
or something like that.
and basically, then this kid's next to him, all shaking, and there's a snake on him, and literally, Indiana Jones just goes, "It's just a snake," picks it up and throws it away, and you're like, "But he's meant to be scared of snakes." Anyway, as this, he basically sneaks in, takes the thing they were trying to take, and runs off with it with the idea of taking it to the museum.
Yeah.
And they chase after him, and they chase after him on a train, and he's running along the top of this train, and the train is a traveling circus, and he basically falls into a pit in the train, and it's literally a pit of snakes,
Oh.
and he starts screaming. So you see why he becomes scared of snakes, and then he escapes into the next carriage, and there's a lion in there. And he's like, and he doesn't know what to do. And he turns to his right, and there's a whip next to him that you use to whip to sort of scare back the lion. And the first time he uses it, he accidentally slices his face and cuts
Oh.
his chin. And then the next time, he manages to scare the lion back. And basically, he keeps the whip, and that's the whip he uses. And then
Yeah.
this guy lifts him out, and Indiana Jones manages to escape. And this guy's looking at him with a smirk on his face, like, "Nah, that kid's pretty good. I like him." And they go after him. They go back to his house, and it turns out they were actually working for the guy who owns the museum. So, and they were working dodgy for him, but that's what they were doing. and the guy
Yeah.
who'd been chasing him is wearing a hat, and it's very
And
clear that
that's
he actually
yeah.
really respected Indiana Jones as a kid. And he
Yeah.
said, and he literally, all the others are like, "We're going to press charges against you if you do this again and everything." And as they walk out, this one guy looks at Indiana and he says, "You lost today, kid, but that doesn't mean you have to like it." And he takes
Hmm.
off his hat and he puts it on his head. And in that sort of 20 minutes, that did a better job of
Then
giving
Solo.
backstory to Indiana Jones than the entire Solo movie did for Han Solo. And I was like, because it was so good, that entire intro, you're going, oh,
I have a
and then,
Yoda, and I'm scared.
oh, I've got a speeder bike, get in.
But I don't think that's going to be useful for the next stage, mate.
No, I know, but I've literally never used one of these in this
Have
game
you not?
before. No, I've never used it.
Oh, they're terrible.
They kind of are. It's like
Yeah.
playing Destiny 2 on a mobile phone.
Wait, you can do that?
No. I just sort of mean that it's like the sort of like when you do the Air
Yeah.
Sparrow, but
Oh
like
yeah.
the
Okay.
controls aren't as good.
Okay. So Mandalorian and Boba Fett. Talk about
You think
Mandalore.
you or me?
We'll talk about. I'll.
You can, to be
I'll go
fair, you
first.
can
Yeah.
pretty much combine them because they have ended up being the
Don't
same thing.
you?
They're the same picture, man.
Shut up. Oh Jesus! It's weird seeing a normal stormtrooper on the bike, mate. But anyway, Mandalorian season one. Um, love the intro. I absolutely love the intro because I am a sucker for bar fights in Hollywood. I'm a sucker for bar fights. For example, Kingsman, awesome bar fight. What else? The Magneto scene in First Class. That one of my favourite scenes in X Men.
Yeah, that's particularly epic.
The music in that scene as well, just a French
Yeah.
kiss. Um, but it's
Sorry,
the
go.
music for Mandalorian, awesome. Da-dum, dun, 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 dun. Copyright, copyright.
Gonna get demonetized,
We're not
and
even
you're
monetized
not
yet.
even monetized. They'll slap for trademark infringement right across your channel's face.
See you tomorrow. Well, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, Sif. You definitely see Saber.
Absolutely, absolutely.
He might
I'll
ban me from the stream because I'll talk too much. Like talk how much I hate the sequels too much.
we will see how that pans out. Not sure what time I'll end up streaming because it'll depends on what time I end up getting to watch the movie, but I'll
Yeah.
be around at some point to continue this debate.
Bye, Sif. It was nice meeting you.
Have a good night's sleep, bud. You take care.
But yeah, um, I loved it. The whole Grogu thing is, I like it. It's like it's interesting to see like a hardened like bounty hunter suddenly become a dad to Yoda.
Yeah.
It's like we don't even know what species it is yet, and it's like I feel like we might get an answer in season 3. Like
I
I
don't
hope
think
we
we
get
will.
an.
They
Hope
have never named that
they've never
species.
named that species, and it feel like part of me wants to get a name for that species, but then part of me doesn't because they might ruin it if they give the
Yeah.
species. Because the whole idea is for it to be a mystery. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because otherwise, if it or like there's meant to be very few of them or something like that, because the only ones that you can actually name and stuff and that you actually see are Yoda, yeah, speak of the
Yaddle.
devil, Yaddle, and Grogu.
There's at least one other one in the Knights of the Old Republic game,
Yeah, there's at least one
who
other one, but I
is
haven't played
is
next.
actually the Jedi Grandmaster at that time as well. I
I'm
suppose it'd
noticing
be
a
very
pattern.
easy for that species to become the Grandmasters because they're around for the longest, so they're going to be more strong.
Yeah,
Um, I think there's one other one as well in one of the books or comics. Um, but yeah, they're very rare
yeah,
as a species. I mean, we see more Wookiees in
yeah.
one film than we see of that
Mm.
species in the entire
Like
Star
Saga.
Wars franchise. Yeah,
But yeah, it's like I do kind of want an answer, but then I don't also want an answer. But yeah, it was. I liked how it was the first season. It was all like, oh yeah, it's all we're gonna have to find someplace hiding. Nowhere's safe. So we then go back to where we think it's gonna be safe, but it's not. Cause boom, Moff Gideon. I
yeah.
love that character.
When he unleashes that dark saber
No,
to put his way out.
that scene. Oh, it's like
Mm.
I was watching that with me mum. Just a blank reaction on her face as she's looking at that, and I'm just saying, it's like, it's like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. If anyone is watching has seen that, it's
Yeah.
I did that, I put that, I put that. It's like, hmm. It's like at first you had my attention, now you have my interest
And my money.
and my money. Take it. Oh, you wait till I have enough money to buy the dark saber, mate. Gonna have to fight the person who delivers it to me. But anyway, season two. It just felt like, oh, we're gonna bring a ton of characters from like shows and stuff like that back. It's like they brought Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, Fennec back from season one. They brought Boba back. Boba. They brought what's his name? Queel. Is it Queel? The guy they bring back?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like I love it. Obviously, Boba Fett. You know how much I love Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And I liked how they brought back Slave One as well with bringing back Boba Fett because obviously we had seismic charges.
I think to be fair, because
It
I mean, I'll be
basically
honest.
felt like a hodgepodge of introducing things
Yes.
to then use at
I,
a later date.
I would, for me, I would just have to review them both together.
Yeah.
It's Mandalorian. I think first of all, I love it. I love it. I just love it. And
I love it, yeah.
it's introduced characters that are fantastic. It's brought in characters that are fantastic.
Yep.
Um, the Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 are pretty much perfect for me.
Yeah.
I have nothing but positive stuff. In fact, I would say it's some of the best Star Wars that's ever been made. Um, and I don't think I think in a sense it's done.
Yeah.
It was better than most of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same emotion to it because let's put it bluntly, there's no lightsabers and there's not as much lightsabers and Jedi.
Uh,
So, but as that starts coming into it with bits of Luke and Ahsoka
yeah.
and the dark saber,
Yeah.
all of a sudden it has everything,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much ideal. Um, so there's hardly anything to say on Mandalorian apart from me. It's some of the absolute best
Star Wars.
Star Wars ever. Um, the Where it comes on to, because I do think you have
Yeah.
to sort of wrap them in together, is the Book of Boba Fett. And the Book of Boba Fett had some good stuff to it,
Yeah. But then
but it just becomes season 3 of The Mandalorian. And the problem with that
mhm.
is that's when it becomes better.
Yeah, no, yeah.
When it stops being a Boba Fett series and becomes a Mandalorian series, it's better. And that's the problem. Because what
Yeah.
that shows is that what they were doing as Boba Fett wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Um, and it just wasn't. It wasn't close. And I think I personally found the ending, the wrap up, a little bit
Yeah.
anticlimactic.
No, yeah, it
I
was
felt,
definitely like rushed and stuff like that.
yeah, you had those episodes with Luke involved, with Cad Bane involved, with the sheriff, with Ahsoka. All this stuff was
It's
going on,
like,
and I was like, "This is
what did they
exceptional."
do? They kill off the sheriff. They kill off Cad Bane.
Well, they bring back the sheriff. Apparently, Cad
Oh,
Bane
no,
isn't
yeah, I
dead.
forgot about that. Yeah. Wait, what
But
do you mean
then,
Cad Bane ain't dead?
because he's got like this little thing on him, which keeps flashing, and apparently that was like something in the Clone Wars that was meant to be like a thing that was like if he needs help. So why would the camera proper doesn't just look at it; it pans down on it, which
Oh.
means that someone might be coming to rescue him.
Oh, is it
Um,
his little droid buddy?
that's perhaps, yeah. You never see him, do you?
No.
Um, so I don't know. I think the Mandalorian was exceptional, but I think
Yeah.
the Book of
Book of Boba
Boba
Fett.
Fett was it was like they couldn't decide whether they were going to do season 3 of the Mandalorian or they were going to do a Boba Fett thing. So they
Yeah.
decided to do both in the same thing. Do you know what that series should have been called?
What?
Should have been called the Book of the Mandalorians,
Yeah.
and you could have had it focus partly on Boba Fett, partly on the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
and then it would still fit. And because you had a whole episode where it was looking at a bunch of other Mandalorians, like
Yeah.
the one at the welder and the other guy, so it would make sense. Hell, there's even whole bits where it's talking about Grogu being a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So
And what
they
you could have
should
done with
just
that, you could
not
have had an
thought,
episode where it's like Bo-Katan comes back and stuff like that. Because
yeah,
I like Bo-Katan's character. I'd love to see her in more Star Wars like
yeah,
things going
absolutely,
forward.
absolutely.
Maybe we see her in Ahsoka.
I hope so. I certainly hope so.
Because it
I
would make
think
sense for her to show up in Ahsoka.
yes,
Because they
it
sort
would.
of have like that friendship, don't they?
Yes. I think as well, you look at it kept doing that thing where there was the flashbacks,
Yeah.
which where they were interested in the flashbacks, but
Yeah.
then they just sort of wrapped up and it was like, okay, that's that done. And I was like, oh, I thought this was something that was going to carry on. It was
Continue for the
almost like
whole
two
series.
separate series. It was a 3-part Boba Fett series and a 3-part and a 2-part Mandalorian series that wrapped up with a combination, like a culmination, like a spin-off, like it was building up towards. And yeah, that's how it felt. It was
Yeah.
you when you turned it on, you didn't know what you were going to be watching.
Yeah.
Um,
And
That
to be
said-
honest, I like it, but obviously, for me, it's like I loved seeing Mandalorian again. But don't get me wrong, but I hated it in a way because it's like, as you say, they were basically making Mandalorian free.
and you're a
And
big fan
I'm a
of
big-
Boba Fett.
Big fan of Boba Fett, so I was excited to have a series of Boba Fett. But then because the Mandalorians come back into it, it then became Mando free, which I wasn't happy about because it's like they could have saved that all. Like the one episode where he comes into it and you're bringing him back and stuff,
Yeah.
fine with that, because they hint at it in the episode. But then
Yeah.
where the next episode is him again, that just no.
In a sense, that one of the Boba Fett episodes about the Mandalorian was the best episode I've ever seen of the Mandalorian.
Yeah, but it
Because when he's getting
wasn't.
his ship and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. But that's not. It wasn't a Mandalorian episode, but it was.
But it was, and that's
Yeah.
you think about it. Because I was fine with that episode. I was fine. But now because you've basically replaced Boba Fett with the Mandalorian, I'm not fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
You're about to die, mate.
I knew. I could see it was coming. I could see that was coming. Okay, I've got an interesting way for us to wrap up.
Okay.
before we finish, got an interesting way for us to wrap up. What about if we just give our thoughts on what we are expecting for Kenobi? Just like a couple of minutes while we finish this game, and then what we're expecting. And I'll let, as your channel, mate, you go first. I'll call it. You go.
Well, obviously, you know how much I love Ewan McGregor,
Yes.
as every other Star Wars fan loves Ewan McGregor. I'm excited to see him come back. I am. It was originally meant to come out today, wasn't it?
I think so originally, yeah, because that's when they put
Originally,
it back and they made it
yeah.
to two episodes were going to come out
27th.
together, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone thought, oh, they're doing that so they can sort of fix the Grand Inquisitor and stuff like that. Nope. Well, judging from this new trailer, nope.
Yeah, I mean, we could see on the
He's.
day, but
We
there's
could
so
see
many
on the day.
scenes.
There's so
Yeah,
many
there's so many
scenes.
scenes that it looks like they can't really now.
Yeah. And it's like, it's a shame, yeah, but we're just gonna have to get over it. I know, blasphemy, yada yada yada. Um, but honestly, um, I'm looking forward for him fighting the Inquisitors. Obviously, he's not gonna kill the Grand Inquisitor. The other Inquisitors that we see, possibly, but then again, Obi-Wan's a Jedi. He doesn't kill, really.
That's yeah, no,
Yeah, like you can say like a bit of a stretch, like he killed Anakin, but he didn't. You know,
no. He actually held back from
he
killing
held
her.
back from killing Anakin. But but yeah, um, I'm also expecting the fight with Darth Vader. I hope that that's not the only scene he shows up in. I hope that's not the only thing he shows up for.
As
Like,
far as I understand, he's meant to be in a few scenes.
yeah, and I am happy with that. I am happy for him to show up in more scenes than just that, because I want him to. Cause it's Hayden Christensen. I said his name right, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's him coming back, reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. I mean, they kind of come as a package like role, don't they? Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's like he's prepared for it. He is prepared for the whole thing. It's like he
I've,
apparently binged
just so you
Clone
know,
Wars and
I've been
stuff.
removed.
What do you mean you've been removed?
I've been removed from the game for some
Why?
reason. I don't know.
Were you standing still or something?
I don't think so. I stand still for a second, but I wasn't standing still for long. But
Okay, that's weird.
it's okay. Go on anyway. I'll go and do me
Um,
leveling up my characters while we finish
okay,
the chat.
but yeah, the new, the new, um, the new trailer showed him like obviously like him obviously probably coming out of his BAFTA tank from the looks of it, and not his meditation
Yes.
chamber that he has. Most likely his BAFTA tank, because he's got his arm being put back on. He's got his like his chest button thing being put back on. I have no clue what it's called. Honestly, I don't. Um, and that is epic enough for me. And the Inquisitor, who she looks like she's going to be the main Inquisitor of the show, not the Grand
I think
Inquisitor.
she's meant to be the main villain for the sort of first couple of episodes at
Yeah,
least.
and she looks like she's meant to be the main Inquisitor. Maybe she's maybe the Grand Inquisitor before the Grand Inquisitor. I doubt
As I
it.
understand it,
I doubt it.
no, yeah, as I understand it, the idea is the Grand Inquisitor is the main one. However,
Yeah,
she's obsessed with trying to get Kenobi
yeah,
because she knows that he's basically he is the number one
he's
Jedi
the number one
target.
Jedi target.
He is like the star, and it's sort of like if an Inquisitor manages to find, let alone capture, Kenobi, you automatically you jump
Become.
up the Inquisitorius. So it's like she'd effectively become the Grand
Yeah,
Inquisitor by finding Kenobi. So it's also like winning the lottery.
yeah,
Um,
but yeah.
and yeah,
Her
that's
her thing where she's screaming. What is it? She says, um, "You cannot, you cannot hide. He'll
you can't
find you."
hide from it. Yeah,
You can't hide from him. He'll
can't
find
escape
you.
him or something like that.
You can't
And
escape him. And then
that's
it
Vader.
just cuts to the arm being put
Vader.
on,
It's
and then you hear the breathing.
I think my thing is I think I'm looking forward to seeing Kenobi as
Yeah,
this sort of broken man and seeing how he goes from being that broken man to
yeah,
but when you see him in episode 4 it's like he's at peace with what he is, do you know,
yeah,
where he's at. And I want to see that transition.
yeah. I want to see that
Um,
transition. The one
I
thing in the trailer that looks interesting to me is Anakin, not Anakin, Obi-Wan talking to Owen
Owen
Lars,
Lars. Yeah, yeah.
and he's like, "You need to leave us alone." And he's like, "The boy will need to
He
be
needs to
trained,"
train. Yeah,
and he's like you trained his father, and that's just
yeah.
like, I can imagine the pain that Obi-Wan must have felt when
That's
he
when you
said
see
that.
that gif of all the people like where they go, oh, and everyone's falling in front of the camera and
Yeah,
everything. It's
it's like
my
the
thing
amount
is
of, it's like, yeah, that's like, that'll be like, oh yeah, okay, funny, like, oh, roasted, whatever. But then it's
yeah,
also like, oh god, like, he doesn't know how much Anakin meant to him. Probably not anyway, because
no,
obviously
he doesn't.
Jedi's aren't meant to have attachments.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, people saying Obi-Wan doesn't have attachments. Yes, he does. His own apprentice.
And do you know what? Can I just point out? It's nonsense anyway because they all did.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Mace Windu had attachments. You know, you're telling me that he didn't see Yoda or Obi-Wan as friends.
yeah.
All you have to do is watch the Clone Wars,
No, it's
and
like,
you see how they rush off to rescue the other Jedi.
yeah,
They the Battle of Geonosis is they risked 100 Jedi to save 2 Jedi.
yeah,
If that's not leaping on attachments, I
yeah.
don't know what is. They do have attachments,
But
and
then
I
it's
think
like, oh, sorry, go on.
no, go for it, no,
No,
go for it.
no, no. You continue because you were talking.
Sorry, the only thing I was going to say was I think that the Jedi's biggest failing is that they
They do.
pretend
They
they don't
pretend
have
they don't have
attachments
attachments.
rather than just going, I acknowledge it's an attachment, do
Yeah.
something better with it.
No, but it's like in the extended universe. Apparently, Kiadi Mundi had a family and everything.
Yeah, because some Jedi, some species, there's only a certain number of them that. So I
Yeah.
think Kiadimundi's, it's basically there's only in his species there's only like sort of one male for every 500 females. So the
So it's
idea
like
is that
they
they
kind of
can't
have
not,
to.
yeah, because they need all of the males to reproduce,
Yeah.
in order to be able to, for the species to continue. So there's a fair few Jedi that are given sort of exonerating circumstances
Yeah.
to be able. So it's, but then
But it's
that's a lot of
like,
things in Star
but it's
Wars
like
anyway.
apparently George Lucas has said that they're allowed to probably they're allowed to obviously have sex, but it's like pretty much one night stands, no attachments.
Yeah,
Oh,
but that's not
quotation
that's
marks
not
under no
reality. That's
attachments.
that's not reality. But it's like they say that with the Sith, only two there are, no more, no less. Except
Ahem.
every single goddamn time.
Ahem. I introduce you, Palpatine's apprentices. Maul, Dooku, Vader. Now, then you've got from Maul, you've got Savage Press. You've got Asajj
Count
Ventress. Count Dooku,
from
Asajj
Count Dooku, you
Ventress.
had House of Interest. From Vader,
You
you
had
had
Starkiller,
Starkiller.
if he's a
Yeah, Galen
canon.
Marek.
Is he
Galen
canon?
Marek and then stuff. Yeah, it is canon. It is canon.
Is canon?
I think so. Pretty
Okay.
much.
Now, here's the thing about Ahsoka. People are saying they want Starkiller in it because then it'd be like the apprentice of Anakin versus the apprentice of Vader.
Mhm.
It'd be
I
interesting to
mean,
see.
put it this way. If they brought in, especially if it was in live action, if they brought Galen Marek in it, you would get to see Sam Witwer in live action.
In live action. But then if it's like if he does like a Maul voice, everyone would be like, hold on a second.
But can you imagine if they had him versus Maul and he was voicing Vader?
Oh, that'd be funny.
Um,
That'd be funny because it'd be like for those of like those people like watching just like who don't know that he voices Maul.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, this is cool. Meanwhile, everyone who knows he voices Mulder is giggling. Just
He also voices Palpatine, and
does,
there's
doesn't
apparently
it?
like a really interesting thing where there's one where he was talking to Ian McDermott, and they started talking
Yeah,
to each other in the Palpatine voice and stuff. Because apparently Sam Witwer is a huge fan of it. He always said, because basically when he was doing the Force Unleashed game,
yeah,
Palpatine's in it, and he said they basically said about him being the stand. He went, "I'll do it under one condition: if I can voice Palpatine as well." And they were like, "Well, do his impression." And he did an impression, and they were like, "Well, that's awesome, yeah, definitely." So he voices Palpatine
yeah.
in the Force Unleashed games. And when they kept writing the dialogue, he was such a big fan that he was like, "No, that's not what he would say. He wouldn't talk like that. You've got to make it almost like sadistically funny. You know what I mean? Like mocking and stuff like that." So
Yeah.
he basically kept correcting the dialogue for them.
No, it's like stuff like that I love because it's like Henry Cavill.
Yes, he's
He's
an nerd.
he's a nerd, and he's on The Witcher, and he's read the books, he's played the games, and he's just like every time the like directors and stuff are like, oh, he's like, oh, this and this and this, and then Henry Cavill's just like, no, you're wrong. It'd be like this, and this, and this, and then it's like the person who plays, I think, and how you pronounce it is Cersei, not Cersei,
In The
Siri,
Witcher.
Siri, but spelled with a C. I'm pretty sure that's how you spell. No, what's Cersei?
Cersei is a character from Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. No, definitely not that. Um, I think it's Siri, but though I feel like I'm wrong with that. I'm pretty sure anyway. The actress who plays her is just like he's such a nerd. It's just like he's such a nerd and it's adorable. But yeah.
Well,
Anyway, on that note,
I think we've covered everything, Mason.
confident. So
Well,
you want to say a quick goodbye before I do the outro?
sure. As we mentioned at the start, the first half of this debate is over on my channel, which is Saber Duel, all one word, and then gaming. But I would like to thank my hosts, the Gaming Lords 04. I'd like to thank anyone who came over to watch and was watching over on my side. Please feel free to come and check me out on the Saber Duel Gaming channel. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. As I said, I'll continue this a little bit, talking about the sequel films in a bit of a stream tomorrow, hopefully. But yeah, thank you for having me on the Gaming Lords 04. Please put a comment on this guy's channel, on his videos. Please put a like on his videos. He puts a lot of effort, and I would especially recommend his Lego Star Wars series, which he's currently working through. I'm not watching them myself yet because I don't want spoilers, but I have caught glimpses of them and they look really good. So go and check them out and give them some love because he deserves it. All right. Thank you very much for having me. Peace out.
Thank you, Saber, for the appreciation. Thank you. Um, Now, as always, if you liked the video, or just if you're watching it as a stream or a video, if you liked it, leave a like. If you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing, and and hit the bell notification once you're there, so don't miss out on any of my videos. As always, I've been the Gaming Loader 4, and fortunately, it's what time we on?
Time now. It
Time now.
is
It is time for Revenge of the Sith, my friends. So,
Revenge of the Fifth, dude.
I messed up, didn't I? Yeah. I'm not used to saying Revenge of the Fifth, alright? I'm not used to saying it. It's Revenge of the Fifth, everybody. Now, obviously, I'm going to say it because we started this on May the 4th. So, May the 4th be with you. Bye-bye.